There is a moment almost every English learner knows. You know the moment. Someone asks you a simple question in English, and suddenly your mind goes completely blank. Your heart starts beating a little faster. Your mouth opens, but no words come out. You know the words. You have practiced them 100 times, but in that exact second, they disappear. And later, when you are alone, when you are walking or driving or lying in bed at night, the perfect answer finally comes to your mind. Every word, every phrase, perfectly formed. But it is too late. The moment has passed. The conversation is over, and you are left with a familiar heavy feeling. Why does this keep happening? Why can I understand English so well, but speaking feels like climbing a wall? If that sounds like your life, I want you to relax for the next hour. Because what you are about to listen to is not another English lesson. This is the reset. This is the moment your speaking changes. Not because I am going to teach you new grammar, and not because I will give you a list of vocabulary to memorize. Your problem is not grammar. Your problem is not vocabulary. Your problem is that you are thinking too much when you should be speaking, and you are speaking too little when you should be thinking. For the next 60 minutes, we are going to fix that, together, gently, step by step. By the end of this recording, you will understand exactly how to open your mouth and speak English in any situation, without rehearsing, without planning, without the heavy, exhausting weight of overthinking. So take a deep breath. Get comfortable. You do not need a notebook. You do not need to repeat anything right now. Just listen. Let the words settle into you. Because confidence is not something you study. Confidence is something you absorb. It grows in silence. It grows in the moments when you stop trying so hard and simply let yourself be. Let us begin with the most important truth in language learning, and it is a truth almost no one will tell you. Ready? The reason you cannot speak English fluently is not because you do not know enough English. It is because you know too much. You know more than you think. You have studied for years. You have watched films and series. You have read articles and posts. You have completed apps and courses and exercises and workbooks. All of that knowledge is inside you. It is sitting in your brain, waiting. So why does it not come out when you need it? Because every single time you try to speak, a small voice inside your head interrupts you. That voice says things like, is this grammar correct? Am I using the right tense? Did I pronounce that word well? What will they think of my accent? What if I make a mistake? What if they laugh? What if they correct me? What if they switch to my language because my English is too slow? And while that voice is speaking, the English words cannot come through. There is traffic in your mind. A jam, a blockage. The highway of your thoughts has too many cars on it, and each car is a worry, a doubt, a small critical thought that is slowing you down. This is what we call the overthinking trap, and almost every learner falls into it, at some level, even advanced learners. People who can write beautifully in English sometimes cannot order a coffee in English, because writing gives you time to think, and speaking does not. Speaking is real time. Speaking is now. Speaking is the present moment. And your brain, which loves to think about the past and the future, is not used to living in that present moment. Your brain is used to planning. Your brain is used to preparing. And in speaking, there is no time to plan. There is no time to prepare. There is only now and now and now. So the first shift we are going to make right now together is simple. We are going to separate two things that you have been combining for years. These two things are our English and perfection. They are not the same. English is a tool. Perfection is a feeling. A tool is meant to be used, even when it is imperfect. Imagine a carpenter who refuses to use a hammer because the hammer has a small scratch on it. That carpenter will never build anything. He will hold his perfect untouched hammer, and he will stare at it, and the wood will stay just wood, and the house will never be built. You are the carpenter. English is the hammer. Your life, your ideas, your relationships, your career, your dreams, your travel, your friendships, those are the house. Stop polishing the hammer. Start building. Every sentence you speak, even a broken one, adds a brick to the house. Every conversation, even an awkward one, adds a wall. Every mistake, yes, every single mistake adds a window, because mistakes let light in. They show you what you did not know before. They are not failures. They are teachers in disguise. Let me repeat that slowly, because I want you to feel it in your chest, not only hear it in your ears. Mistakes are not failures. Mistakes are teachers. The people who speak English best in the world are not the people who never made mistakes. They are the people who made the most mistakes and then kept going. Fluency is built from thousands of small, messy, imperfect sentences. There is no shortcut, but there is a secret. And the secret is this: you must give yourself permission to be bad at English before you can be good at English. Permission to sound silly. Permission to use the wrong word. Permission to forget a phrase. Permission to speak slowly. Permission to be human. Now, once you give yourself that permission, something beautiful happens inside your brain. The traffic starts to clear. The voice that criticizes you gets quieter. And underneath that voice, you discover another voice, a softer one, a calmer one. This is the voice of your true English, not textbook English, not exam English. Your English, the English that lives inside you, made of your experiences, your personality, your feelings, your stories. And this English, your English, is more than enough. It is exactly what you need. It does not have to sound like anyone else. Let me tell you something that may surprise you. There are billions of people in the world who speak English. Most of them are not native speakers. Most of them have accents. Most of them make grammar mistakes. Most of them pause, say, repeat themselves, and sometimes forget words. And yet, they communicate. They build friendships. They close business deals. They travel to new countries. They love. They laugh. They succeed. They are not perfect speakers of English. They are effective speakers of English. There is a big difference between those two words. Effective means your message reaches the other person. That is all. That is the goal. Not grammar, not accent, not vocabulary size. Communication, connection, understanding. When you realize that communication is the goal, not perfection, your entire approach to English changes. You stop trying to sound like a native speaker. You start trying to be understood. And the moment you start trying to be understood, you become easier to understand because you focus on the listener instead of yourself. Here is a small mindset shift that will change your speaking forever. When you are about to speak English, do not ask yourself, "Am I going to sound good?" Ask yourself, "What do I want this person to understand?" See how different that feels. The first question is about you. The second question is about them. The first question makes you nervous. The second question gives you clarity. Because once you know what you want them to understand, your brain naturally finds the words in the order it needs, in the quantity it needs, and the rest, the extra words you thought you needed, the complicated grammar, the fancy vocabulary, you realize you do not need it at all. Simple words, clearly spoken with real meaning behind them, are more powerful than a long speech full of advanced phrases. So from this moment forward, Try to practice one question every time you are about to speak. What do I want this person to understand? Not how do I say this perfectly, but what do I want this person to understand? That question will guide you. That question will calm you. That question will unlock the words that are already inside you. Now let us go deeper. Let us talk about something that is, in my honest opinion, the single most powerful change you can make in how you speak. It is this: stop thinking in words. Start thinking in chunks. Let me explain what I mean. When most learners try to speak English, they build their sentences one word at a time. They think of the subject, then they think of the verb, then they think of the object, then they think of the preposition, and by the time they have assembled all the pieces, the moment has passed. This is slow. This is tiring. This is why your brain gets exhausted after a few minutes of conversation. Because building word by word is like carrying water from a well one drop at a time. Fluent speakers do not do this. Fluent speakers speak in chunks. A chunk is a group of words that fit together naturally, that always go together, that come out as one unit. For example, a fluent speaker does not think, I want to know if you have time. That is 8 separate calculations. A fluent speaker thinks, I was wondering if you have time. That is one chunk, one breath, one unit of thought. Or, do you have a minute? Or, are you free right now? These are chunks. They arrive in your mouth already built. You do not assemble them. You just deliver them. So your job from today is to start collecting chunks instead of collecting words. When you hear a phrase you like, do not write down only the new word. Write down the whole phrase, the whole unit, because that unit will come out of your mouth much faster than individual words. Your brain does not need to build it. It just needs to find it. Let me give you a simple library of chunks that you can use in almost any situation. These are the chunks that carry conversations. Master these, and you will feel a weight lift off your shoulders. For starting to speak, chunks like, I was just thinking, to be honest, the thing is, what I mean is, let me put it this way, for agreeing, chunks like, that makes sense. I see what you mean. You have a point. I could not agree more, that is a fair point. For disagreeing softly, chunks like, I am not sure about that. I see it a little differently. I understand. But have you considered? I hear you, and at the same time. For buying time when you need to think, chunks like, let me think for a moment. That is a good question. Give me a second. How can I put this? For ending a thought or changing topic, chunks like anyway, moving on. The point is, long story short, in any case, notice something. These chunks do not require perfect grammar. They do not require advanced vocabulary. They just flow. They are conversational glue. And when you use them, your English sounds natural, even if the rest of your sentence is simple, because fluent speakers use these chunks all day long. They are the heartbeat of real conversation. Start listening for them. Start stealing them. Every film, every podcast, every conversation is a free library of chunks. Take what you need. Make it yours. Now, here is a question I get asked all the time. What do I do when I am in a situation and my mind goes blank and I cannot find the chunks and I cannot find the words and I am just standing there, frozen? The answer is beautiful. You do not fight the silence. You use the silence. Because silence is not your enemy. Silence is your friend. A small pause in a conversation is not weakness. It is confidence. It shows you are thinking. It shows you are present. It shows you respect the conversation enough to answer carefully. Native speakers pause all the time. They pause, they say, well, they say so, they say, let me see. These sounds are not accidents. They are tools. They give your brain time without making the conversation feel uncomfortable. So, when you feel the panic coming, do not rush. Do not try to fill the silence with messy, broken words. Take a breath. Say, let me think for a second. Say, that is interesting. Say, how can I explain this? These phrases buy you 5, 10, 15 seconds of precious thinking time. And they sound completely natural. The other person will not be annoyed. The other person will wait. Because they are not in a race. They are in a conversation. And conversations are supposed to breathe. Now let us get practical. Let us walk through the most common real-life situations where English learners freeze, and I will give you a simple, confident way to handle each one. We start with the most common situation of all, meeting a new person. When you meet someone new, your brain may start running through thousands of possible sentences. Stop. You do not need thousands. You need 3, a greeting, your name, and 1 short question. That is it. That is a complete introduction. Here is how it sounds. Hi, I am Sarah. Nice to meet you. And how about you? What is your name? Or, hey, I am Ali and you are. Or simply, hello? I do not think we have met. I am Maria. Notice how short these are. No extra words, no complicated grammar. Just a small, friendly bridge between 2 strangers. After the introduction, most learners panic because they think they have to say something clever. You do not. You just have to ask a question. Any question. How do you know the host? Is this your first time here? What do you do? Where are you from? Have you been here long? These are boring questions, and that is exactly why they work. Because boring questions are safe. Boring questions are universal. Every human in the world has answered. What do you do? So, by asking a simple question, you take the pressure off yourself and you give the other person a chance to speak. And while they speak, you listen. And while you listen, your brain relaxes. And while your brain relaxes, the next thing you want to say appears naturally. This is the secret of good conversation. Good conversation is not about speaking a lot. Good conversation is about listening a lot. When you listen deeply, the other person feels important. When the other person feels important, they like you. When they like you, they forgive your small mistakes, your accent, your pauses, everything. Because human beings remember how you made them feel, not how perfectly you use the past perfect tense. They will forget your grammar. They will remember your warmth. So, in every social situation, your job is not to speak well. Your job is to listen well and then to respond simply. Short responses, honest responses, responses that show you were paying attention. Oh, really? That sounds interesting. How did that happen? What did you do next? That is amazing. I can understand why. Me too. Same here. These little responses are gold. They keep the conversation alive without requiring you to build long, complicated sentences. Now, let us move to small talk, because small talk is where most learners feel lost. Small talk is the easy chat about nothing in particular that happens before a real conversation begins. It is about the weather, the journey, the food, the weekend, the place. Learners often say, I hate small talk. It feels fake. It feels empty. But small talk is not empty. Small talk is a bridge. It is the way humans warm up to each other. You cannot skip the bridge and arrive directly at the deep conversation. You have to cross it slowly. The good news is, small talk has very few rules and very few topics. You can prepare for it in 5 minutes. The topics are weather, travel, or traffic, food, weekend plans, weekend past, the place you are in, and the event you are at. That is basically it. So, when there is silence in a room and you need to say something, you can always ask, so, how was your weekend? Or, Have you tried the food here? Or, the weather has been crazy lately, right? Or, how is your journey getting here? Or, is this your first time at one of these? These are simple, friendly, universal sentences. They work at a party. They work at a business event. They work in an elevator. They work at a bus stop. And when someone asks you a small talk question, do not panic. Give a short answer and add one small detail. That is the pattern. Short answer, small detail. For example, how was your weekend? Answer, it was nice. I spent some time with my family. That is enough. You do not need to describe every activity from Friday to Sunday. Short answer, small detail. That is the pattern that keeps a conversation light and moving. If the other person wants more, they will ask. If they do not, you can ask them back, and now they have the turn, and you can breathe again. Let us move to a situation that makes many learners sweat. Work meetings. Whether you are sitting in a video call or a real meeting room, speaking English at work has a special kind of pressure. Because at work, your words are connected to your career, your salary, your future. And that makes the overthinking even louder. So here is the strategy. Before the meeting begins, do not try to prepare every possible sentence. That is impossible. Instead, prepare only 2 things. First, prepare the one thing you want to say. Just one. The one point that is most important for you to share. Write it down in one short line, not a speech. One line. For example, I want to suggest we move the deadline by 1 week. Or I want to share an update on the client. Or I want to raise a concern about the timeline. One line. That is your anchor. If the meeting gets chaotic, if people talk over each other, if the topic drifts, you come back to that one line. When there is a pause, you step in. I just wanted to add something quickly. And then you deliver your one line. The second thing to prepare is 3 chunks that let you enter a conversation politely. Something like, can I just add something here? Sorry, can I jump in for a second? I just wanted to say, from my side. Sorry to interrupt, but I think these chunks are your door opener. In most meetings, especially in English-speaking cultures, people will not always pause to give you a turn. You have to take the turn. Politely, but firmly. And these chunks give you that power. Once you are in, you can deliver your one line, slowly, clearly, and then you can stop. You do not need to fill the rest of the time. You said what you came to say. That is a win. If someone asks you a question in the meeting and you did not fully understand, do not pretend. Pretending is dangerous because your answer might be completely wrong, and that is far more embarrassing than asking for a repeat. Use one of these. Sorry, could you repeat that? Sorry, I did not catch the last part. Could you say that again? A little slower, please. Just to make sure I understood, you are asking about this. Native speakers ask these questions too. It is not a language failure. It is good communication. In fact, it often makes you look sharper because it shows you want to answer accurately, not just quickly. If you are giving an update or presenting, remember this. Speak in short sentences. Short sentences are your best friend. Long sentences are your enemy. Every time you try to make a sentence longer, you add risk. More words, more grammar, more chances to lose your place. Short sentences are clean. Short sentences land well. Here is the update. The project is on track. We finished phase 1. We are now starting phase 2. We have one issue, which is, we plan to solve it by, are there any questions? See how clear that is? No fancy vocabulary, no complicated tenses. Just clear, simple, confident English. Powerful because it is simple. Now let us handle phone calls and video calls. Phone calls are scary because you cannot see the other person. You cannot read their face. You do not know if they are smiling or frowning. You only have the voice, and the voice can feel colder than it really is. Here is how to reduce that fear. Begin every call with a short, warm greeting and introduce yourself clearly. For example, "Hello, this is Ahmed calling from Alpha Marketing." Or, "Hi, Sarah speaking. How can I help?" By stating your name first, you put the listener at ease and you give yourself a gentle start. You have already spoken one clear sentence. The first wall is broken. During the call, if the line is bad, if the connection is weak, if the other person is speaking too quickly, say so. "Sorry, the line is a bit unclear. Sorry, you are breaking up a little. Could you please speak a little louder? I am having trouble hearing you." These are all normal phrases. Native speakers use them constantly. They are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign that you care about communication. When you need to take a note during a call, buy time. "Just one moment, let me grab a pen." "Sorry, 1 second, I am just writing this down. Could you give me 1 minute while I check my calendar?" These small pauses are completely normal, and they give you the space to think and respond carefully. Never feel that you must reply instantly. Slower responses often sound more professional, more thoughtful, more in control. End calls with a clear, simple wrap-up. "Okay, so to summarize, we will do this by Friday. Thank you so much for your time. I will send you an email to confirm. Have a great day." This kind of closing makes you sound competent, and it gives the other person a clear picture of what happens next. A clean ending builds trust. Video calls are a little easier because you can see faces, but they bring their own pressure because your face is also visible. You feel watched. Try this simple trick. Look at the camera, not at your own small image. The moment you stop looking at yourself, the nervous feeling drops. Because the nervous feeling is partly caused by self-monitoring. When you stop watching yourself, you are freer to simply speak and smile a little. A small smile, even when speaking imperfect English, makes your voice softer, your words warmer, and your presence more pleasant. People will forgive almost any mistake if you speak with warmth. Now let us go to the world of travel, restaurants, and everyday situations outside your home. These moments are gold for practice because they are short, they are predictable, and they repeat often. You can prepare for them once and use the same phrases for a lifetime. At a restaurant, your entire experience can be handled with less than 10 chunks. "Could I have a table for 2? I have a reservation under the name. Could we see the menu, please? What would you recommend? I will have the please. Could you tell me what is in this dish? Is this spicy? Could I have some water? Could we have the bill, please? Could I pay by card?" You see, 10 chunks. That is all you need to eat in any English-speaking country for the rest of your life. Memorize these as units, as chunks, and the restaurant becomes easy. It stops being an English test. It becomes simply a meal. If you do not understand the waiter, do not pretend. "Sorry, could you say that again? What does that mean? Could you explain that dish to me?" The waiter will answer. They deal with confused customers all day. They will not be annoyed. In fact, they will appreciate that you care about the meal. At the airport, the phrases are equally limited. "I am here to check in for flight number. Here is my passport. Just one bag to check. Is it a window seat or an aisle? Which gate is it? Where is the departure area? When does boarding start? Is the flight on time?" 10 more chunks. And now the airport is no longer a source of anxiety. It is a sequence of small, familiar exchanges. In shops, the list is even shorter. "Excuse me, where can I find? Do you have this in a different size? Do you have this in another color? How much is it? Could I try it on? Where is the fitting room? Could I pay here? Could I get a receipt?" That is about it. You never need more. These chunks cover 99% of shopping interactions. Once they become automatic, you walk into shops without fear. For directions, just learn, "Excuse me, could you tell me how to get to? Is it far from here? How long does it take on foot? Is there a metro or a bus? Could you show me on the map? Could you repeat that slowly, please?" That is it. That is the whole world of asking directions. Now, you might be listening and thinking, this is all too simple. I want to speak at a higher level. And here is the beautiful paradox. You will not get to the higher level by skipping the simple level. You must master the simple level first. Because confidence in the simple level creates the foundation for the complex level. Right now, most of your anxiety is happening during simple interactions, and that anxiety is draining the energy you could be using for deeper conversations. When you make simple interactions automatic, your energy is free. Free to listen, free to think, free to enjoy, free to express your real personality. And that is when higher level conversations become possible, not before. Let us talk about one of the hardest situations for learners. Expressing opinions, agreeing, disagreeing, explaining why you think what you think. Many learners stay silent in group conversations, not because they have nothing to say, but because they do not know how to start saying it. So let me give you a simple opinion structure that works every time. It is 3 steps. Step 1, a starter phrase. Step 2, your main idea. Step 3, a short reason. Starter phrases for opinions. In my opinion, personally, I think. If you ask me, the way I see it, I would say. These phrases signal to the listener, I am about to share my view. That signal alone buys you respect and attention. After the starter, you give your main idea in one short sentence. Then you add a short reason, beginning with because, or the reason is, or that is because. For example, personally, I think we should wait a bit because the timing does not feel right. Or, in my opinion, the first option is better. The reason is, it is simpler for the team. Or, I would say we already have enough data because we have been analyzing this for 3 weeks. 3 steps: starter, idea, reason. That is a complete opinion, and it sounds confident, even if the English is simple. Now, disagreeing. Many cultures find disagreement uncomfortable, and in English, there is a set of polite softeners that make disagreement feel respectful instead of aggressive. Learn these, and you will disagree with grace. I see what you mean, but I understand your point, however. That is an interesting idea, though I am not sure. I hear you, and at the same time, I can see why you might say that, but from my perspective, these phrases are like pillows. They soften the edges of your words. You can disagree completely and still sound kind because the pillow is there at the start. And remember, you do not always have to explain why you disagree. Sometimes you can just say, I see it a little differently, and leave it there. You do not owe anyone a long justification. A short, calm disagreement, without anger, is one of the most mature things a person can do in any language. Agreeing is easier. Exactly. Absolutely. That is so true. I could not agree more. You are right. Good point. That is a fair point. You took the words out of my mouth. Yes, exactly what I was thinking. These short phrases show you are engaged and part of the conversation. In group discussions, even a short warm absolutely can keep you in the flow without requiring you to build a full sentence. Now let us talk about one of the most important skills in real English conversation: handling mistakes without freezing. Because you will make mistakes. I make mistakes. Native speakers make mistakes. The question is not whether you make them. The question is, what do you do afterwards? Most learners do the worst possible thing. They freeze. They apologize many times. They try to rebuild the whole sentence. They make it a bigger moment than it needs to be. Here is the correct way. When you make a mistake, you have 3 choices. 1, keep going and ignore it if the listener understood. 2, give a tiny correction, 1 word, and move on. 3, laugh softly and say, "Sorry, my English is still learning." And then continue. That is it. 3 small options. Nothing dramatic, nothing heavy. If you are in the middle of a sentence and you realize you chose the wrong word, just say, and insert the right word, and continue. For example, I went to the cinema last week. Last weekend. Small correction, 3 seconds. The conversation keeps moving. If you are not sure whether you use the right word, say, "Is that the right word?" or something similar. And often, the listener will help you, and now you have learned, and the conversation has continued. Never freeze and start over. Freezing gives the mistake more power than it deserves. Small mistakes, handled lightly, disappear. Big pauses, heavy apologies, these turn small mistakes into big moments. Keep it small, keep it light, keep moving. One more piece of this mindset is about not taking corrections personally. If someone corrects your English, they are not attacking you. In most cases, they are trying to help. You can simply say, "Oh, thank you, I will remember that," and continue. Or, "Ah, that makes sense, thanks." A small thank you transforms a correction from an embarrassment into a gift. And you learn faster, because you are not wasting energy defending yourself. Now let us talk about the magic of pace, your speaking speed. This is something most learners get wrong. Most learners try to speak fast, thinking that fast speech is the sign of fluency. It is not. Fast speech with many pauses and fillers is the sign of nervousness. Slow, clear speech with confident energy is the sign of fluency. And here is the good news. You can fake slow, confident speech immediately, without any more vocabulary. Just slow down, lower your shoulders, breathe, speak, pause, speak. When you slow down, 3 wonderful things happen. First, your brain has more time to retrieve words. You will find the right word more often because you gave your memory time to work. Second, your pronunciation improves instantly because fast speech slurs words and slow speech clarifies them. Third, the listener pays more attention because slow, measured speech feels important. When someone speaks slowly, we lean in. We listen more carefully. We give them respect. You can practice this in your own room. Take any short text, a message, a paragraph, and read it out loud, but slower than feels natural. Put a tiny pause at the end of each phrase. Let the sentences breathe. After a week of this kind of practice, your natural speaking pace will become calmer, and you will notice the difference in real conversations. You will stop rushing. You will stop stumbling over syllables. You will sound mature and grounded because your pace itself is grounded. Now, let us talk about the fear of judgment. This is the big monster that keeps most learners quiet. The fear that someone will laugh, that someone will think less of you, that someone will judge your accent, your grammar, your pronunciation, your level. So first, a truth. Most people are not judging you nearly as much as you think. They are thinking about themselves. They are thinking about their day, their worries, their own imperfections. When they talk to you, they are mostly hoping you like them. They are not watching your grammar under a microscope. They are simply trying to connect. And even if 1 in 10 people is slightly judgmental, so what? That person is not your jury. That person does not decide your worth. That person does not live your life. You do. Their opinion is not an emergency. You do not have to adjust yourself for every possible judgmental person. That is a life of fear, not a life of growth. Second, Think about this. The judgmental person, the one who looks down on your English, is almost certainly someone who has never had the courage to learn a second language themselves. It is easy to judge from the outside. It is hard to do the work. You are doing the work. You are the brave one. You are the one stretching into something difficult. They are just watching. You have already done more in this journey than they can imagine. Third, remember that your accent is not a mistake. Your accent is your identity. Your accent is the music of your mother tongue, meeting the notes of English. It is beautiful. It carries your history. Some of the most powerful and admired English speakers in the world have strong accents. Nobody confuses the musicality of their origin with a lack of intelligence. Accent is color. Accent is character. Accent tells your story. Own it. Love it. Fourth, here is a powerful idea. When you stop being afraid of other people judging you, you start to realize that the strongest judge was never them. It was you. You were judging yourself. And that voice was wearing the mask of other people. Once you stop judging yourself, the outside voices lose their power too. So the real work is not to make other people stop judging. The real work is to make peace with yourself, to forgive your own imperfections, to treat yourself the way you would treat a close friend who is learning a new skill, with patience, with kindness, with encouragement. Let me give you a small mental ritual to help with this. Before a conversation, or before a call, or before stepping into a meeting, take one breath and silently say to yourself, I am allowed to be imperfect here, and I'm allowed to enjoy this. Not, I have to be perfect. Not, I have to impress them. But I am allowed to be imperfect, and I am allowed to enjoy this. That one phrase, repeated in your mind, rewires your nervous system. It removes pressure. It brings you back to the present. It puts the joy back into speaking. Because, and this is a point I want you to really sit with, English was never supposed to be a source of fear. English is a doorway. English is a way to meet new minds, to see new worlds, to hear new stories. English opens possibilities that did not exist before. Every sentence you speak in English adds one small thread to the fabric of your future. Think of all the people you will meet in your life, all the opportunities, all the experiences that were not open to you a few years ago and that are slowly becoming available, simply because you are learning to speak. That is not a small thing. That is a transformation. You are becoming a different version of yourself, a version with access to a much larger world. The fear is a small price for something so huge. Now let us talk about building your speaking identity. Here is a truth that might surprise you. When you speak a new language, you become a slightly different person inside that language. Studies on bilingual and multilingual people confirm this. When we switch languages, we switch tone, we switch rhythm, we switch even some parts of our personality. This is not a problem. This is a gift. You get to choose who you become in English. You get to build an identity there, slowly, deliberately. So ask yourself, who do I want to be in English? Not, who do I think I should be? But, who do I want to be? Do you want to be warm and friendly? Do you want to be calm and thoughtful? Do you want to be funny and light? Do you want to be sharp and professional? You can be any of these. You can be a mix. The important thing is that you choose. Because if you do not choose, your English self becomes a nervous copy of your other self, only with fewer words. That is not who you really are. That is just the fear. Start speaking as the person you want to be in English. Speak with the warmth you want to carry. Speak with the calm you want to have. Speak with the curiosity you want to show. And something amazing happens. The more you speak as that person, the more you become that person. Not only in English, in general. your English self begins to influence your whole self. People have told me that learning to speak English with calm confidence made them calmer and more confident in every part of their life, because the habit of calm speaking spread beyond the language. That is the deeper gift of learning to speak English well. You are not only learning a language, you are training your nervous system. You are practicing presence. You are practicing patience. You are practicing courage. Every conversation is a tiny workout for your soul. And slowly, across hundreds of conversations, a new you is forming. A you who can speak in any situation. A you who does not fear silence. A you who welcomes mistakes. A you who is comfortable being seen, being heard, being imperfect, being real. Now I want to give you a simple daily practice that will hold all of this together. It is short, it is free. It does not require apps or textbooks. It only requires a few minutes of your day and a little honesty. Every morning, when you wake up, before you touch your phone, spend 2 minutes speaking English to yourself. Out loud, not in your head. Out loud. Say what you're going to do today. Say how you are feeling. Say anything. Today I am going to work, and after that I need to buy some vegetables. I feel a little tired, but I also feel okay. I'm going to try to be calm today. The content does not matter. What matters is that your voice, your breath, and your English are meeting in the quiet of the morning before the world puts pressure on you. That short private practice sets the tone for the whole day. It tells your brain, English is not something I do for other people. English is something I do for myself too. Then, at some point during the day, find one small real interaction in English, a voice message to a colleague, a question to a shopkeeper, even if they speak your language, a short post you read out loud, a sentence you speak to yourself in the mirror, a phone call if possible, something, anything. Even 60 seconds of speaking in a real situation is better than 30 minutes of silent study. Speaking is a muscle, and muscles grow only with use. Then, in the evening, spend 3 minutes reviewing your day in English. Today I woke up early. I had a meeting at work. It went well, but I was a little nervous. I made a mistake when I said, but I recovered. I met a new person I was happy about. This simple review does two things. It reinforces everything you learned during the day, and it trains your brain to think of your life in English, which is ultimately what fluency is. Fluency is not speaking fast. Fluency is thinking in English without translation about your real life, and you build that slowly through small daily reflections. That is it. 2 minutes in the morning, 1 real interaction, 3 minutes in the evening, 6 minutes a day. You will be amazed at what 6 minutes a day produces over 6 months, over a year, over 3 years. Tiny, consistent practice beats huge, inconsistent effort. Every time. Without exception. Let us pause here for a moment and speak about job interviews. Because for many learners, the interview is one of the most intense English-speaking situations they will ever face. Your livelihood feels like it is sitting on your tongue. Every word feels heavy, and the overthinking can feel unbearable. And so, let me give you a few clear ideas that reduce the weight. First, remember that an interview is not a grammar test. It is a conversation about whether you fit the role and the team. The person sitting across from you or on the other side of the screen is not waiting to catch your mistakes. They are listening for the story of who you are, what you can do, and how you communicate. A simple, warm, clearly delivered answer is almost always better than a long, fancy, nervously rushed answer. Simplicity wins interviews. Prepare 3 core stories in advance. Not 3 speeches, 3 stories. 1 about a time you solved a problem. 1 about a time you worked with a team. 1 about a time you failed and learned something. These 3 stories can be adapted to answer almost any interview question. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about a challenge. Tell me about a conflict. Tell me about a mistake. In every case, you can reach into your bank of 3 stories and pull out the one that fits. You are not memorizing answers. You are preparing material. There is a difference. Material is flexible. Memorized answers are stiff. While telling each story uses simple structure. The situation, what you did, the result. That is it. For example, we had a client who was very unhappy about a delay. I called them personally. I listened for 10 minutes. I explained our plan, and I offered a small discount. The client stayed with us for 3 more years. Situation, action, result, short and clear. This structure frees you from the stress of improvising an entire narrative, and it makes you sound organized, which is exactly what interviewers love. When you do not understand a question in an interview, do what we talked about earlier. Ask politely. Could you repeat that, please? Just to make sure I understand. You are asking about. This is not weakness. This is professionalism. Interviewers respect candidates who communicate carefully because they know that kind of care will show in the actual job. And finally, for interviews, remember that silence is acceptable. You do not have to answer the moment the question ends. Take 3 seconds. Gather your thought. Begin. Those 3 seconds will feel like an hour to you, but they feel normal to the other person. They want a thoughtful answer, not a fast answer. Slow down. Breathe. Speak. Let us also touch on networking and making new professional contacts. Networking in English sounds intimidating, but really, it is just small talk with a warmer handshake. The same chunks we covered earlier work here. How did you hear about this event? What do you do? What brings you here? Are you from the city originally? Where are you based? How long have you been in this industry? Nothing fancy, nothing clever, just friendly, open, human questions. And when someone asks you what you do, have a simple answer ready, 1 line. I work in marketing for a small agency. I am an engineer. I work on software for banks. I teach English online. 1 line. If they want to know more, they will ask. If they do not, you can ask them, so, what about you? How did you get into your work? When you want to exchange contact information, simple phrases. Would you mind if we stayed in touch? Do you have a card, or should we connect online? I would love to keep in contact. Could I send you a message? These phrases are clean and professional. You do not need to explain why you want to stay in contact. The moment itself is enough of a reason. Networking events are scary, but they have a hidden secret. Everyone there feels a bit awkward. Even the most experienced networker feels a small flutter of nerves when walking into a room of strangers. So, when you approach someone and say, "Hi," you are doing them a favor. You are starting a conversation that they were also hoping to have, but were also a little afraid to begin. Remember that. When you speak first, you are not bothering anyone. You are rescuing both of you. Let us also cover medical situations, because these moments can feel stressful, and being in a clinic or hospital while searching for the right English word is especially hard. Once again, chunks are your lifeline. I have an appointment with doctor. I am here for a checkup. I have been feeling. A short description. My throat is sore. My stomach hurts. I have a headache. I feel dizzy. I cannot sleep properly. I am tired all the time. For how long? For about 3 days. For 2 weeks. Since last month. That is enough. The doctor will ask more questions, and you can answer with simple words. If something is unclear, say so. Could you explain what that means? Could you write that down for me? Could you show me which one you mean? Do not pretend to understand a medical instruction. It is far better to slow the appointment down and be sure. Now let us speak about making friends in English. For many learners, this is the deep reward they are searching for. Not just the ability to do business, not just the ability to travel, but the ability to build real friendships, to share jokes, to have long conversations, to feel emotionally connected in a second language. Here is the secret to friendship in any language. It is not about your vocabulary. It is about your willingness to be vulnerable in small, honest ways. When you share a small personal detail, people warm to you. I am a bit tired today. I did not sleep well. I feel a little nervous at these events. I love this kind of music. It reminds me of my family. These small, sincere shares are the fuel of friendship. They invite the other person to share back. And before you know it, you are not talking about the weather anymore. You are connected. You are laughing. You are exchanging stories. This does not require advanced English. It requires honest English. And honest English is something you already have. Do not wait until your English is excellent to make English-speaking friends. Make them now. They will help you improve more than any textbook because friendship provides you with endless, low-pressure, repeated speaking practice, colored with emotions that make words stick in your memory forever. Friends are the best language teachers because you actually want to understand them, and wanting is the root of all learning. Let us also speak about online interactions. A huge part of modern life, of course, happens through messages, comments, voice notes, and video calls. English learners often feel safer in writing because writing gives time to think. That is true. But I want to challenge you to use speaking whenever the option is there. If you can send a voice note instead of a text, send the voice note. If you can do a video call instead of typing, do the video call. Every voice note, even a short one, is a tiny, valuable speaking rep for your brain. And the more you send them, the less afraid of your recorded voice you become. You stop hearing the imperfection. You start hearing the message. Now, I want to speak about a deeper part of this whole journey, the internal voice, the voice inside your head that tells you how your English is going. Because for many learners, this voice has been cruel for years. This voice is the one that says, "Why are you still making this mistake? Your English is terrible. You are too old to learn. You will never speak well. Other people are better than you." Every time you speak, this voice is nearby, waiting to comment on your performance. And because this voice lives inside you, and you cannot escape it by going to a different place, it follows you everywhere. So your task, alongside learning phrases and chunks and techniques, is to gently change this voice. You do not fight it. Fighting makes it louder. You replace it. You begin to speak to yourself inside your own mind, the way a kind coach would speak, a coach who believes in you, a coach who celebrates small wins, a coach who reminds you that every attempt is progress. Imagine a coach sitting on your shoulder. What would they say after you said an imperfect sentence? They would not say, "That was terrible." They would say, "Good, you tried. That is exactly how we improve." They would not say, "You should be ashamed." They would say, "Everyone stumbles. Get back in there." They would not say, "It is too late for you." They would say, "You are right on time." Start being that coach for yourself, out loud if you want, or silently. After every conversation, say to yourself, "I did my best, and I learned something." After every mistake, say, "That was a gift. I will remember it." After every moment of fear, say, "I was brave enough to try." This kind of inner dialogue is not soft. It is powerful. It rewires the same brain that used to be your critic. It turns your inner world into a safe place, which paradoxically makes you more confident in the outer world. You will know you are healing when you notice a small change. You will finish a conversation, and instead of replaying every mistake in your head for the next hour, you will simply think, "That was okay. I did fine, moving on. That moment of peace is the beginning of real fluency. Because fluency is not only about the mouth, it is about the mind. A mind that is kind to itself speaks more freely because the pressure inside is lower, and a mouth connected to a calm mind finds its words without effort. Now I want to return to the main theme of this recording: overthinking. Because even with all the tools and all the chunks and all the mindsets, overthinking can come back. It is a deep habit. It does not disappear in one day. So, let me give you the one truth that, when you finally feel it, ends the overthinking permanently. Here it is. You do not speak English because you are ready. You become ready because you speak English. Read that slowly. Listen to that slowly. Because most learners are waiting. Waiting until their grammar is good enough. Waiting until their vocabulary is bigger. Waiting until they sound less accented. Waiting until they feel confident. And that day will never come, because confidence is not the gift of waiting. Confidence is the gift of doing. You speak, and then confidence arrives, not the other way around. If you wait to feel confident before speaking, you will wait forever. If you speak before you feel confident, confidence follows, like a shadow that always arrives one step behind the person walking. So from today, do not ask, "Am I ready to speak?" Ask, "What can I say today?" even if I am not ready. Because readiness is a myth. Readiness is what people chase who do not want to take the first step. The people who actually speak English well in real life are not the most ready. They are the least afraid of being not ready. Let me give you a small picture to carry with you. Imagine a child learning to walk. The child falls 100 times. The child does not feel ready. The child is not prepared. The child has no technique, but the child keeps standing up again and again, and slowly, the falling becomes less frequent. The steps become longer. The balance becomes steadier. And one day, the child is running. No one thinks of the child as a failure for falling. Everyone celebrates each step. Everyone knows that falling is part of learning. You are that child in English. Every word is a step. Every mistake is a fall. Every attempt is progress, even if it looks like failure. And the world is not your critic. The world is cheering for you. Most people you meet would be impressed that you are learning a second language at all. They are not waiting to judge your mistakes. They are hoping you will try because they find your effort inspiring. And I want to give you a few more practical tools before we end. Let me share a technique that I call the 2-sentence rule. In any conversation, promise yourself that you will say at least 2 sentences. Not 20, 2. If you say 2, you have won. If you say 4, that is a bonus. This tiny goal removes the pressure of being a great conversationalist. You are not trying to lead the conversation. You are not trying to impress anyone. You are just trying to contribute 2 sentences. And 2 sentences is easy. 2 sentences is manageable. 2 sentences is the smallest step toward participation. Once you have said your 2 sentences, notice the feeling inside you. That small, warm feeling. That small sense of, I did it. That is the fuel of confidence. Your brain will remember that feeling, and next time it will be a little easier. And 2 sentences become 4. 4 become 8. 8 become real participation. And real participation becomes fluency. And fluency becomes ease. All from starting with 2 sentences. Another technique. Give yourself permission to say, I do not know how to say this in English. This is a magical phrase because it is both a confession and a request. The moment you say it, people often help you. They offer words. They suggest phrases. And now you have new vocabulary, learned in the context of real use, which is the fastest way to learn. Never pretend to know a word you do not know. Just say, "How do you say in English?" Or, "What is the word for?" Or, "I am not sure what to call this." The ego wants you to fake it, but humility opens doors that the ego cannot reach. Be humble, ask, learn, move on. Another tool, paraphrase. Paraphrase. You paraphrase. When you do not know a word, do not stop. Describe the thing instead. For example, if you forget the word umbrella, you say, "That thing you use when it rains." If you forget the word scissors, you say, "The tool we use to cut paper." If you forget the word appointment, you say, "A meeting that is planned in advance." This skill of paraphrasing is one of the most important skills in real speaking. It keeps the conversation alive. It shows you can think around problems. And often, the listener will give you the word you were looking for, and now you have learned it forever. Another technique, use simple questions as lifelines. In any conversation, when you are unsure how to respond, ask a question. What do you think? How about you? Have you experienced that? What would you do? What is your opinion? In questions, turn the spotlight around. While the other person speaks, you gather your thoughts. Good conversationalists are often good questioners. They do not dominate. They invite. They create space for others. And this is a gift, both for them and for you. Because while they speak, you are processing, and your next response quietly arrives. Another technique, replace the word but with and where you can. In English, but often feels like it cancels what came before. I understand you, but I think. And when you say, "I understand you," and "I also think," the sentence feels more collaborative. This is a small, advanced shift, and it makes your English sound emotionally intelligent. You are adding ideas, not rejecting them. People notice this, even unconsciously, and they trust you more. Another technique, mirror the other person, lightly. If they speak slowly, you can speak slowly. If they smile, you can smile. If they use a word, you can use the same word a few minutes later. This kind of gentle mirroring builds warmth, and it keeps you connected to their energy, which helps you stay present instead of trapped in your own head. When you are focused on their tone, their pace, their vocabulary, your overthinking fades. Because overthinking lives inside you, and mirroring pulls you outward, into the other person, where conversation really happens. Now, I want to bring us back to the beginning. Remember that moment we talked about? The moment when someone asks you a question, and your mind goes blank. I want you to imagine that moment again. But now, with everything you have heard tonight, picture yourself in it. Someone is speaking to you. Your heart begins to flutter. And in that moment, you take one slow breath. You smile a little. You say, "That is a good question. Let me think for a second." You pause. You are calm. You are not running. You are thinking. And then, from somewhere deeper than your anxiety, a simple answer rises. Not perfect, not impressive, just honest. You deliver it slowly. The other person nods. The conversation continues. That is your new pattern. That is your new reality. Not a miracle, not magic, just a quiet, repeated choice to be present instead of panicked, to be honest instead of perfect, to be real instead of rehearsed. And the more you choose it, the more natural it becomes. Until one day, you realize you have been speaking English for 10 minutes without worrying once, and you stop, and you smile, almost surprised at yourself, because the overthinking has quietly faded into the background. Not because you destroyed it, but because you gently, kindly, patiently starved it by feeding yourself presence and calm instead. I want you to know something before we end. The fact that you have listened this far says something about you. It tells me that you are serious about your growth, that you are tired of being silent when you have so much to say, that you are ready to live in English, not just study it. That readiness, that inner decision is the single most important thing in language learning. Methods matter, teachers matter, but your decision matters more. Without decision, no method can help you. With decision, almost any method will work because you will find a way. You have made that decision. Now you must keep making it every day in small ways. When you wake up, choose English. When you have a small opportunity, choose speaking. When the fear rises, choose breath. When a mistake happens, choose lightness. When someone judges, choose to keep going. Every choice is small. Each one alone is nothing. But together, over weeks and months and years, they build a speaker who can handle any situation, a speaker who can walk into any room, answer any question, join any conversation, and leave feeling proud, not drained. Let me leave you with a few short words to carry with you. Take whichever ones speak to you most. Speaking is a muscle, not a mystery. Connection is the goal, not perfection. Pauses are strength. Mistakes are light. Chunks are faster than words. Simple is powerful. Confidence follows action. You do not find courage. You use it. Your accent is your signature. Your story deserves to be told. The world is waiting to hear your voice, and your voice in English is enough. Before you go back to your day, I want to give you a small final gift, a short inner sentence you can say to yourself in any English situation as you prepare to speak. It goes like this: I have something to say, and I am going to say it simply. That is all. I have something to say, and I am going to say it simply. Let that be your inner anchor. Let it replace the anxiety, the overthinking, the rehearsing. I have something to say, and I am going to say it simply. With those words, you can enter any meeting, any call, any room, any conversation, and you will find the words, and you will deliver them, and you will be heard. This is not the end of your journey. It is a turning point. From today, you carry a different set of tools. You know what overthinking is and how to disarm it. You know what chunks are and how to collect them. You know how to handle greetings, small talk, meetings, phone calls, restaurants, travel, shopping, opinions, disagreement, and mistakes. You know how to slow down, how to breathe, how to listen, how to paraphrase, how to ask questions, how to recover, how to continue. You know that confidence is built, not found. You know that your accent is your identity. You know that your decision matters more than any method. You know that 2 sentences are enough to start. You know that 6 minutes a day will change you over time. You know that you are not broken. You are learning, and learning, when done with kindness, always becomes mastery. The world is a large place full of people you have not met yet. Some of them are waiting for the exact gift that only you can give. Your thoughts, your perspective, your culture, your humor, your soul, delivered in English. There is only one you. There is only one version of your English. And that English is beautiful because it is yours. Do not hide it anymore. Do not keep it inside. Let it out, simply, honestly, and one sentence at a time. The next time someone asks you a question in English, I want you to remember this recording. I want you to remember the breath. I want you to remember the pause. I want you to remember the smile. I want you to remember the sentence, I have something to say, and I am going to say it simply. And then I want you to speak imperfectly, slowly, humanly, beautifully, because that is what real speaking is. Not a performance, not a test, not a fight, and just one human being offering their words to another human being, as a bridge, as a hand, as a moment of connection in a busy world. Go build those bridges. Go offer those words. Go have those conversations. They are waiting for you. And every time you speak, even in a small way, remember that you are winning. You are living in English. You are not watching from the outside anymore. You are inside. You are part of the conversation. You are part of the world. And that is what you came here for. Speak today. Speak tomorrow. Speak the day after. Not perfectly, not fearlessly, just honestly and slowly. So slowly you will not even notice it. The overthinking will quiet. The confidence will grow. The words will come. And one day, without planning it, you will look back and realize you are not the same person who was afraid to speak. You have become someone new, someone who lives inside English without effort, someone who walks into any situation and simply speaks. That person is not far away. That person is not years away. That person is already inside you, waiting, listening, hoping you will let them out. Let them out. Start now. Start quietly, start gently. Start with one sentence. I am here. I am learning. I am speaking. And that is more than enough. Thank you for listening. Thank you for giving this recording your attention. Thank you for trusting yourself enough to take another step on this long, beautiful road. I am honored that you shared this hour with me. Go into your life now with softer shoulders, with a lighter mind, with an open heart, and with the quiet knowledge that you can speak English in any situation, starting today. Not perfectly, but really, not loudly, but clearly, not fearlessly, but honestly. An honest English from a real human, spoken with calm and care, is one of the most powerful forms of communication that exists on this planet. Carry that power with you. The world is listening. Speak.